So the next file that we're going to look at is cabin crew. So we're going to resize all of these columns, click on the little triangle, double click between the A and the B. So the first thing you want to do is choose a primary key from this file. So it looks like payroll number can be the primary key. You can have a look for any duplicates using conditional formatting if you want, but there aren't going to be any duplicates in this column. And every single field over here, all of these fields are only dependent on the primary key. So from the primary key you can get someone's full name, surname, crew code, and long service value. So this file here is already in 3NF form. If you go through these 4 bullets that are stated here, you'll find that it does obey the 3NF conditions. So the only thing to do is to make sure that all field names are short, meaningful, consistent in style, and contain no spaces. So you see payroll number over here, that is way too long. It has to be short and meaningful. So I'm just going to do payroll underscore number. Full name, surname, crew code, we don't want any spaces. And long service, we don't want any spaces. So putting underscores in their place. So this file now is now in 3NF form. So we're going to save this. So file, save as, browse, and we're going to call this file cabin crew and save. So I'm going to close it. Now we go to the next file, which is going to be crew code. So this file only contains one field. So this field is probably going to be the primary key field because it is a code field already. So if we look through this information, you'll find that there are no duplicates. So everything is fine. Since it's only a field, we don't have to worry about other fields being only dependent on it. However, there is no field name. You can see it's just data straight away. But in the other files, if we open up codes, for example, these columns had field names at the top, like flight number and arrival airport code. So we've got to make sure that there is a field name at the top here. This has got to do with crew code. So the field name is going to be crew code. And right click on the one, say insert, and I'm going to type in crew code. So this file is in 3NF form, so we could save this one. So file, save as, browse, and this is going to be crew code. Make sure it's .csv and hit save. You can close this file. And now we've got one more file to look at, which is the N18 flights. So we can resize everything by clicking on the little triangle, double clicking between the A and the B. So the field that we might presume to be the primary key here is the flight number. But the trick with this file is to actually now go and look to see if there are any duplicates in this column. It might not look like it at first, but if we go to conditional formatting, highlight cells, duplicate values, you're going to see that they will come up in red, which means for each of these flight numbers there are duplicates. But the thing is here, the values that are duplicates, so for example here's AT001, this flight's on the 15th of the 1st, 2018. If you look at AT001, this flight, however, is on the 1st of the 1st. So although the flight numbers are the same, these are different flights on different dates. So we can't just remove duplicates here, because then we're removing information of separate flights. So I'm going to remove the conditional formatting, Control Z. And what we're going to do is create a primary key for this file now. So I'm going to right click on column A, click on Insert, and we're going to create an ID field for each of these flights. So ID, and here you can just go 1, 2, 3, highlight these 3 numbers, and drag down. The computer will recognize that our numbers are going up by 1. So each of these flights now have a unique ID for them. So this is going to be the primary key. So now this information has got its own primary key without any duplicates, and there's no information that we want to group together here that we can copy to be in its own file in a different Excel spreadsheet. So this file we can now save straight away as flights. So we're going to File, but before we do so, we're just going to make sure that the field names are short, meaningful, and have no spaces. So remove the spaces between any of these texts and put an underscore in its place. And now we're going to save this file as flights. So File, Save As, Browse. I'm going to call it flights, and it's a .csv file, and we can save. We can close this file. So now we looked at all 4 of these files over here, and we've now created 5 files that we would now import into Access. And then once you form the relationships between these files, we will then have a database normalized to third normal form.